Oh man, I'm back. I'm back to filming YouTube videos. This past week, I was sick with the flu, couldn't get out of bed. Obviously, didn't want to pick up the camera and record, didn't have the creative flow, didn't have the creative energy, didn't have the energy to do anything other than lay in bed. But I'm really grateful that today I'm finally feeling better. I'm not 100%, but I'd say I'm back to about 80%, and that's good enough for me. And I'm filming on a new camera that I'm super excited about. Being in bed for 3 days, like, what am I gonna do? So, of course, I hyperfixate on one of my special interests and I start doing more research on different types of cameras that would work for what I want to do, and I decided on getting this one. From all the research that I've done, this might be one of the best vlogging and creator content cameras. It's the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I'm also thinking that this camera would be really awesome for different like nature shots and different videos in nature, just to showcase and capture the beauty of our planet. Filmmaking and video editing has always been something that I've been super passionate about. Ever since I was a kid, I was like making videos, editing videos on iMovie, and it just brings me a lot of joy, and I feel like I can finally do so much more with it now. And lately I've honestly been feeling so incredibly grateful. Over the past few months, I've transitioned into doing full-time content creation, doing work for different brands, and it feels so good to having put in work in this for the past 7+ years to finally be able to be on my own with this and to be making a living from doing this. It feels so amazing, and it feels amazing to have the funds to purchase creative tools like this to enhance my content, to enhance storytelling, to showcase more of my life and my experience, but also to showcase, like I mentioned, the beauty of our world, the beauty of this human experience. I've been creating content for, like I said, at least 7 years, uploading it to Instagram and then TikTok and now YouTube. And it felt like it just wasn't really taking off anywhere. It felt like, you know, no one is seeing my content, no one is seeing my art. And within the past few years, it feels like things are finally manifesting. What I wanted when I was 18 is finally coming true now. And just looking back at like all the work that I've put in, I feel proud of myself for getting to this point. And don't get me wrong, I still have some imposter syndrome. Of course I do. I'm a human, and I've been working on some of that in therapy and really just allowing myself to sit with, what does this abundance mean to me? Why do I still feel in some ways that I'm not worthy of this abundance? And it's been a really powerful journey of allowing this abundance to flow into my life and remembering that I too am deserving of this. I have put in the work for this, and these are the rewards. And I finally feel like in my life, for the first time ever, I feel the most authentic that I am. I feel the most me that I am. I don't feel the need to try to mask myself or camouflage myself or put on a facade to try to be someone else just to be liked more or just to maybe get more content views. No, like, I feel like I am showing up as I am, whether it's on camera or just in every aspect of my life. And I really do think that the world just needs more authenticity. And here's the thing. I made I think it was like a TikTok video or a reel the other day, explaining how it feels kind of weird when people say things like, "Oh, you're so brave for talking about your autism," or you're so brave for being so vulnerable on the internet. And when people say those things, like, I know it's coming from a good place. I know that they have good intentions and they're trying to be encouraging with their words, but it does make me feel kind of weird. First of all, it feels weird because it's not brave to talk about or to be my authentic self, right? It's not brave to talk about autism, or at least I don't think it should be. Like, that's a huge part of my reality. And it's a huge part of so many people's experiences, is being autistic and what that brings and what that comes with. And the other reason why it makes me feel kind of weird is because isn't that what we should be doing? Isn't that what social media should be for? Is being as authentic as possible? It's crazy because I understand that social media definitely doesn't show the whole entire picture of everyone's life. But I wish that as a society we could strive to do more of that, whether it is on the internet or off the internet. And I think if we want to see it more on the internet, it has to happen off of the internet. I always hold in my heart this vision and this gnosis of a world that is possible where we all get to be who we are. Of course, as long as we're not hurting anybody, as long as we're being loving and kind and compassionate, where we can all just show up exactly as we are. I come from my background being autistic, and so I'm talking about that here, where we can show up as our autistic selves, but it's so much more than that. Where anyone, no matter their background, no matter what challenges they're going through, no matter what things make them them, where they can show up without feeling like it has to be an act of bravery. And to be honest, one of the things that makes me so upset about a possible TikTok ban, which I've been following nonstop this past week. There's been so many roller coasters with this. Who knows what's going to happen, right? But I feel like on TikTok, it created a sense of community of imperfect people. On Instagram, it feels like you scroll and you see like everyone living perfect, beautiful lives in their beautiful homes. They have everything, right? And then on TikTok, it felt like people were talking about these brave or vulnerable things about their experiences. And it created this sort of community. And it reminded us that it's okay to be weird. It's okay to be different than the status quo, because even when you are different, even when you are weird, there's still people who like you. There's still people who will support you. There's still people who are in fact similar to you, even if you feel so different from everyone else. And that's kind of like a struggle that I've been having with the TikTok ban, of course, along with other things like the dangerous precedent that it sets, but that's a topic for another video. And I just wish that we could get to a place in the world where that's normal everywhere. And I don't know how we do that, but I think that it starts with ourselves. I think that it starts with us first figuring out who we really are, which honestly is a lifelong journey. I'm still figuring out who I am, even though at this point in my life, I feel the most authentic that I've ever been. And I think that when we do that, when we start being ourselves, there's sort of like a frequency to that other people will feel that frequency in some weird, mysterious way, and it gives them permission to start being themselves, to start showing up in ways that they didn't really feel comfortable showing up before. Those are just my thoughts after sitting in bed for 3 days straight. I've had a lot of thoughts, and there'll probably be more throughout this video, but I need to go stretch. I haven't done any sort of physical exercise or any sort of movement since like 4 days ago, and I know that that's what my body needs, and that's what my body is craving right now. I was also thinking too during these 4 days of being sick, how being sick and being autistic is like the worst combination, especially if you struggle with like sensory overload. Just the sensation of a stuffy nose and coughing and body aches. I would say that it probably feels worse if those sort of things already overstimulate you, and they do for me. And so I think it made it just a little bit more challenging. But at the same time, I really kind of let myself be sick. I really did my best to just accept my reality for what it was. And I really used it as a time to reconnect with myself, to get back in touch with slowing down. That's been one of my intentions. And I think sometimes I forget to be intentional with slowing down. And there's times like the past few days where the universe actually forces us to slow down. And in that time, I allowed my body to recharge. I allowed my body to rest. I think I was going a little bit too hard at the gym, and I was having some SI pain in my hip, a tiny bit of shoulder pain, and the universe said, no, stop forcing it, because now I'm going to force you to rest. And that's exactly what happened. And I feel a lot better. And despite still being like slightly sick and only feeling probably like 80% better, I do feel like almost not a new person after that, but I do feel like me 2.0. Like something happened during that period of rest that allowed my whole body to recharge and almost upgrade in a way. Well, thank you for tuning in to my experimental video where I'm trying out my new camera and just playing around with some different features. I'll be back with some more like regular content very soon. I'll probably take a few more days off, just really allowing myself to feel back to 100%, allowing that creative energy to flow back to me. And I'm definitely going to continue creating YouTube videos. I love it. It is so much fun. I've done short form content for a long time, and I'll continue to do that. But I feel like with long form content, there's even more ways to be creative. There's even more ways to tell stories, to explain things, to just tap into the creative energy that flows from the heart. So thank you for watching.